Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Friday, September 10th, and yes, tomorrow is 9/11. A day that we will never forget where we were, what we thought, what we said, how we felt. It's just a day that will stick forever in our mind and hearts. The horrific day that changed our lives forever. And I can't believe it's been 20 years. I remember clearly where I was, what I said. I was in beauty college at the time and I was sleeping. We started back then, I believe, at 7:30 or 8. And this was like, what, 6, a little bit after 6. And I woke up to my husband shaking me saying, the plane hit the building. And I'm like, what? And so many thoughts cross your mind, like, at a speed of lightning. And I'm thinking, if this is a joke, first of all, it's not funny. Second of all, what do you mean a plane hit the building? What building? What plane? And I'm thinking, kind of annoyed because I thought the little bit of sleep that I had left to have before I had to get up and get ready and go to beauty college, you are taken away from me. So what is happening? And the way my bedroom was, like, say if this was the headboard, so I'm sleeping facing that way, the TV was on a stand right next to my face. So if I turned to the left, I could see the TV like clearly. It was really close to my face. And he said, the plane hit the building, and the fear in his eyes. And I'm like, what? And as soon as I said, what? There came the second plane and hit the other building. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and that's exactly how I grabbed my face. I'm like, what is happening? What is that? What's going on? And he said, it seems like it's a terrorist attack. And I'm like, what? And I know we have enemies around the world. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, the United States think they're all that because they're the most powerful and the most richest country in the world. They think they're all that. They're conceited, and it's just a lot of hate for us, unfortunately. And but back then I didn't feel it was like that. I know today we're living in very scary and dangerous times. We are going through so much with the pandemic and COVID now being in its second year, worse than it was in the first year with the Delta variant. The controversy with anti-vaxxers, anti-maxers, the corruption in some parts of our government, being in a time where just a few years ago we were like let the dogs out, like you're free to be racist, you're free to be mean and violent, and everything that was negative and bad and hurtful and sad was kind of like being allowed. And so we're holding on and fighting for democracy like with our dear life. And most people are trying to do the right thing. And it's just so much negativity, misinformation, controversy, corruption, a lot of stuff. But I still consider myself to be so blessed to have been born and raised in America. I am Puerto Rican. My parents are from Puerto Rico. So even if I had been born in Puerto Rico, I would have been a United States citizen no matter what. But I'm just so happy that I was born on the mainland, so I didn't have to have any of those second guessings or what have you. I'm so, so proud to be Puerto Rican. I don't think there's a Puerto Rican more prouder than me, I think, but I'm sure there are. I've been to Puerto Rico. I love everything about it, our music, our culture, our food, everything. I think we're just the creme de la creme. So, and I, go full force on everything of showing my proudness. And I would have been proud to have been born in either place. But I just feel like, especially what we're going through, it's just to be directly born on the mainland, because even Puerto Rico's going through a lot. We're feeling rejected because they're on the island and they're considered, or used to be for a long time, second-class citizens. And the unappreciation of Puerto Rico came into play with the hurricanes and stuff. So just all that we're living through is just so scary and so hurtful, and we're just trying to hold on and still be so proud of where we're from, because we should be. I mean, we are so blessed to be in a country where we have democracy, where we have freedom and rights, but we should be grateful for those freedom and rights, because many people around the world don't have it, as like we're seeing in Afghanistan. So, and we're seeing those people afraid and trying to leave, and we see people from Mexico and Honduras and Guatemala and all those places running for their lives from fear of, you know, violence and stuff, running to feed their families, running for a better life, running. Do you think people want to leave their culture, their music, their people, their family, everything that they know and love is dear to them? Do you think they want to run just to come? They don't. It's for a serious reason. Sometimes we don't have time to go to the port of entry and file documents because you're running for your life. That's the key word, running for your life. So I'm just so blessed that me and my children, we were born and raised here, and we don't have to have those fears. We don't have to suffer like that. We don't have to try to cross borders and get killed or hurt or rejected. We don't have to be insulted or disrespected. It's just a blessing, a blessing. And I thank God every night. You know, I'm doing this Little House on the Prairie series, and there's a series about, it's called The Centennial, and it's about a Russian immigrant who, he loses everything, but he tries to tell the American people, you know, it was my fault because, you know, I wasn't informed, and so I made a decision that I wasn't informed, but you're living in the best country. So stuff like that. And this is not what this video is about. It's about 9/11. But just, I wanted to kind of throw that in there of how blessed me and my children feel to have been born and raised here, and the freedoms and the rights that we do have. But at the same time, we want to be grateful and not take anything for granted. We want to be grateful for those rights and those freedoms. We don't want to take anything for granted. We want to be the best human beings, the best people that we can be, so that God can be proud of us and our country can be proud of us. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in because of, you know, why someone would attack us. Why would we have a terrorist attack? And I've heard for many, many, many years that that was one of the reasons. And just simple people that are, you know, are not all there and just love to hate and love to hurt. And that's kind of what they're used to. And so, and this happened to us on 9/11. And I remember then when the second plane hit, fully waking up and going, God have mercy on us. Why? You know, why? And I'm like, these people in these buildings are innocent people. You don't know their party affiliations, their stance on anything. These people have families and children and wives and husbands and parents. No human being should go through that whatsoever. But it was just like these people, they worked for the government, yes, but, you know, we weren't like, you know, senators and governors and stuff where we make decisions. I mean, not that anybody, like I said, deserves to be hurt or killed, but it was just like, just regular people just trying to go to work. And so when the second plane hit, then I jumped out of bed and I started listening to the news. And I just, the tears, I just cried and cried and cried and thought, what a sad day for America. Are we going to recover from this? What are we going to do? Are we going to retaliate? Are we going to, because I started thinking like a Pearl Harbor, in the movie Pearl Harbor, where I forgot exactly. I got to see the movie again. It's been so long. But there's a part in there, well, I don't know if it's a colonel or commander, who he was for the American side. And he goes, they have just woken up a sleeping giant. And I felt like that's how the United States felt like. They have hurt us and they have no idea what they've done. Because the way we're going to respond is going to be incredible. And so, you know, I went ahead and got ready, and I'm crying at the same time and re-putting on my makeup and crying and having to re-put it on. And I got ready. I went to beauty college. You know, I told my husband, oh my God, you know, just hold on to the kids. You know, for some reason, he didn't work that day. I think back then he had that specific day off. Um, and I said, I'm just going to go ahead and see what's happening at the college, if there's any class at all. If not, I'll be back. You know, I'll let you know. And I gave him a big hug. And, you know, my husband was born in Mexico, and he's like, I'm so sorry, because this is my country. And it was just so sad. So sad. And so I went to beauty college, and the teachers and all the classmates were huddled in the office just watching the news where the TV was. And we're just all sitting there just stunned, shocked, crying, giving our peace of mind, trying to get more information as it's coming along, seeing the reaction of President Bush. And I clearly remember him being in a school with kids, and I think he was about to read to the kids. It was some subject about education, of course. And I remember seeing a man whispering in his ear. But he didn't give away with his look. It was just like a kind of that look, like, what in the world? And I know they said that at first they thought it was a small plane, that the pilot had a heart attack, kind of like what I thought. This pilot must have had a heart attack, and how devastating. But when the second plane hit, then I knew it was definitely on purpose, and we were being attacked. And then the guy whispered in his ear, and just the look, like he tried to remain calm, and he didn't try to show any expression of like, oh my God, what are you talking about? He had a look in his eye though, like a mad look in his eye, but still remain calm. And then the man comes back in his ear a second time. And that's when he finally gets up and says something to the fact, I have to go. Thank you so much. He didn't say, oh, I have to go, we're being attacked. He didn't want to scare the children, you know, or the teachers or whoever was there. He goes, you know, I have to go, but thank you so much for everything. And he was just calm. I'm sure after he went off to the side, he was probably like, you know, losing his marbles. And it wasn't until I saw the documentary, because at first I thought, why isn't he retaliating? Why isn't he showing people how strong we are and how we will not tolerate any attack or any hurt to our people? I mean, you know, in the moment you want him to react like right away, like bomb them back, you know, kill them back. But that's not the way it goes. And I think you do need to like center your mind and your heart. And I think you do need to pray. And then you meet with your military team, your FBI, your CIA, whoever you have to meet with to see what is the process, what is the next move, how do we retaliate, how do we stop this? So, and there's a process, but in the moment as just a citizen, you're like, just fight back and fight back right away. You know, show them that we are strong and we are powerful and this will not be tolerated. You know, protect us, defend us. So, you know, your anger starts running wild, and at the same time you're hurt and you're sad, and you just think of all those people that were probably just at their desk, relaxed, just thinking, what am I going to cook for dinner today? Or I miss my husband or wife or my children or my parents. You know, what was going through their mind? You know, and did they have time to think when the plane hit? Did they die instantly? You kind of hope that they did die instantly so they didn't feel anything. How many people were able to escape? You know, the smoke, the fire from the fuel, just everything was incredibly just too much to be believed. It was just like very sad day, and it continues to be a very sad day. Even though we have this controversy about withdrawing from a long war, I agree wholeheartedly that it was time to go. We should have actually been left. It was time to go. We didn't go there to build nations. We didn't go there to change lives or the government. Well, kind of. We didn't go there to change lives or way of life. We hope that at the time that we're there, that our presence did help or impact changes for women, especially. We hope that in the process, we killed like 2 birds with 1 stone. I think 20 years is long enough. you know, you're always going to have them in your heart, your thoughts, and in your heart and your prayers. And we still from afar will continue to help in any way we can. But, you know, it was just overdue for us to get out. Maybe how the way it was handled probably is controversy. You hope that it could have been handled better, and why wasn't it handled better? But I think no matter which way it would have been done, there still would have been chaos. There still would have been some loss of life. It's not an easy thing, and when you're the one that has to make these tough decisions, we sit back in our homes and relax. We don't have to get gray in our hair. We don't have to make these tough decisions. We just can only hope and pray that we're doing the best we can and handling the situation the best we can. You know, I believe that it was handled in the best way possible, because if you're meeting with your military, your FBI, your Homeland Security, all this, that they're experts, that they've been there for 20 years, so they know what's the best way. And considering what you have to work with, you can only make the best decision possible. I'm still hoping and praying that any American or a person that was a help or an aid to the United States can make it out and just be at peace. I hope that that country will have peace, that are having changes for the better. You can only hope and pray, but there's only so much you can do. So I kind of feel like us withdrawing and 9/11 coming, that we have ended something that went on for way too long. We went in there for a reason, to get a particular person, to stop terrorism attacks. We have conquered that. There's always going to be stuff like that for the length of the world, time. But I think we had succeeded in bringing it down, stopping it, you know, and getting the person that we intended to get. And so it's like, I don't want to really get into the politics of it because I'm not an expert. I mean, I come from a military family. I was in JROTC myself. I left ROTC being a second lieutenant, and if I had gone to the Army, I would have went in with that rank. I have a lot of Army, Marine, Navy family, so this is a military family. But I still, times have changed, so I don't know the details of it. I just know that 9/11 will always be in our hearts and mind. It will always be a memory of a very, very sad, a very scary day for America. We want to remember those who lost their lives, from the people that were working there to the fire department people, all the first responders, all the people that even died later as effects of the 9/11 smoke and inhalation and all of that. We just want to never forget, because when you don't forget, you constantly pray for that. You know, we wish we can erase it from our minds and say, oh, thank God, that was just a nightmare, that never happened. But it did happen. And unfortunately, we will always remember 9/11, and we should. We should never forget those who lost their lives. We should never forget the sadness and the sorrow that America went through. And that itself should be one of the reasons to unite us more than ever, now more than ever, because we need unification. And, you know, it just should remind us that we were so unified on that day in 2001. We came together as a country, as a people. We came together and we were unified, and we helped each other without looking at each other's race or political party or health or whatever. We just put all that behind us and just was an emotional, mental, spiritual and physical support for each other. We were, like they say, our brother's keeper. And I wish that we could remember how we came together so we can implement that in what we're going through today. That can happen again to us at any time. We have to be vigilant. We have to not take anything for granted, anything. That's why when we say we have freedom and we have rights, oh, we do. More than any country. But for God's sake, be grateful. Be grateful, because we never know when that could be taken away. We never know when we're going to, if and hopefully not be attacked again. We have to be strong. We have to be together. There's a part in the movie Soul Food, which is an amazing movie and I highly recommend. It's about a family who goes through different hurts and who just can't get along, but yet they have the traditions of Sunday dinner together. And they're trying to keep the traditions that the mother had always implemented and who always said that that was the very epitome of the meaning of what family was, especially Sunday dinner. So, you know, Sundays is supposed to be a day of rest, a day that we go to church, a day that we're with our families because most of us are off, stuff like that. And the family starts to go through different things, lies, betrayals. I'm better than you, and if it had not been for me, you would not have that. I mean, just the fighting was getting worse and worse. The mom ends up falling ill. But before that last Sunday dinner, before she falls ill, because they're starting to argue at the table, the two sisters, and she says, stop it. You do this every Sunday, and I'm tired of it. She said, you will accomplish nothing pointing the finger at each other. But if you put all those fingers together and form a fist, you can form a mighty blow. And that is so true with families. I know my family is dysfunctional. There's a lot of us that no longer have a relationship, that will no longer ever have a relationship again, we don't talk to each other. I mean, at first we would cry about it, get angry about it, but we've made peace with that. But it's a dysfunctional family. And that is true. When she said, if you put all those things together, all those fingers together and form a fist, you're going to form a mighty blow. And if this country just did that, if we came together, whether it's something we agree with or not, something we believe in or not, but we're our brother's keeper and we come together for our country, that we can form that fist and form that mighty blow. There's a part that says, you know, if God is for us, who can be against us? That rings so true as well. And it's like, if we are together, if we put everything behind us, push everything to the side, whether it's vaccination controversy, masking controversy, political party controversy, if we say enough and just hold true to what we believe in, but put that to the side and come together and unify as a country, man, we can form that mighty blow. But if they find us divided, wow, we're in a very delicate, very scary, very vulnerable state. And people don't understand that because 9/11 was 20 years ago. I think some people have forgotten, you know, how unified we were. And if we had been divided like we are now back then, what could have happened to us? We have no idea. No idea. And so I just pray for my country. You know, I pray for my family, for my people, for our government, for just humanity. You know, just humanity. One of the first people on my list is humanity. I'm like, Lord, have mercy on us all. There's so much sin and evil in this world. We all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Some are more worse than others, way more worse than others. But we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So, you know, help us to repent, to see the error of our ways, and to be those honest, decent, loving, giving, compassionate, respectful, humble, and kind human beings. Help, but more so to be Christians, to seek and follow you no matter what religion you want to choose, but to seek and follow him. To do anything and everything to stay spiritually connected, whether that's going to church. And I know right now it's impossible because of the pandemic. But you can have church in your home. The Bible says where there's 2 or 3 there in my name, there I am. So you can have fellowship in your home. You can read your Bibles in your home. You can pray in your home. You can sing spiritual music at home. You can see the service, you know, Zoom on TV. I know it's not the same as being there and coming together with your spiritual family, but it is the next best thing. And we just need to be grateful that we have the technology to be able to do that. And, you know, just I'm kind of losing my train of thought. But just to be, you know, whether it's going to church, whether it's reading our Bibles, whether it's reading our devotionals. I love to read devotionals, saying our prayers, listening and singing Christian music or spiritual music, which is dedicated and about God, but it recharges our batteries. It uplifts our strength, our faith, and our spirit. And we need that now more than ever. So that is my prayer every night, part of my prayer. And I'm like, you know, help us to do the right thing, to stop listening to lies and misinformation, and to see this as blessings that God throws on the earth, because he's with us. And as long as we're living a spiritual good life, he will be there to help us and protect us. But we got to do our part. We can't be selfish. We have to be compassionate. It's all over the Bible. So when you use even religion or Christianity to say, I'm against the vaccination because I have the blood of the Lord over me, a lot of people have been straight up 100% dedicated their life to God, and they still died of cancer. So we all have to die. So we can't say that just because we're a Christian, we are saved from getting COVID or saved from being attacked, or that is not true. We can still hurt. The Bible talks about it. We can still be sad. We can still lose. We still have to go through trials and tribulations. And yes, our faith has to be huge. We have to believe and have faith in him, who is the only one that can save us. But we have to be reasonable and say, but we're still on earth. And if we do our part, then God will surely help us. But we have to do our part. So those blessings, like having scientists and doctors and medications and antibiotics and vaccines and things that can save our life, that God works through these doctors and these scientists' hands to make this available and possible for us. You can't just say it's going to come directly from God. He has to work through doctors and scientists and specialists and nurses and stuff like that to get it done here on earth. So, and when we're compassionate and not selfish, man, God is very happy and proud of us. So I just have to throw that little spiritual feel out there as well. So wherever you were, whatever you said, whatever you thought on 9/11, never forget, because it's a conscious reminder that we'll never forget. We'll never forget those who lost their lives and all those who suffered, and just our pain of seeing our country being attacked. Even if we weren't directly affected, even if we were safe and at peace in our homes, like I was in my bed, surrounded by my family. I was healthy. I was going to beauty college, making a dream come true. The plane didn't hit my home. You know, I didn't suffer anything from it. But what suffered was my heart, my mind, my thoughts, my emotional well-being, my mental well-being, my spiritual well-being was affected, even though I wasn't physically directly affected. But those other parts of my body and my life that mean a lot, sometimes even more than, you know, in some ways more than physical. Of course, no one can compare it to being physically directly impacted. Of course not. But sometimes those other ways of being hurt are just as sad and just as effective as other ways as well. I don't know how to explain it without saying we were just as effective, the people physically hurt. No, the people that were physically impacted, directly impacted, that received injuries and death, we cannot even compare ourselves to that. What those families had to deal with that day of losing a family member, a child, a parent, a wife, a husband, a grandchild, a friend, and that they still have to relive that every 9/11 is uncomparable. We can't compare. We just have to be thankful that we were safe, and, you know, that we're able to be here today to remember them and support, you know, these families that were left behind. That's what I'm saying. But people also were affected mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, of course, because we hurt for our country. We hurt for our brothers' lives. We are our brother's keeper. We hurt for humanity. We hurt for so much, and that affects your spiritual mind, your emotional mind, your mental state of mind, it hurts. And to this day, it still hurts. And so we just have to say, it happened. And remember where we were, what we thought, what we said, how we reacted from the days after, and what we can do today, 20 years later, to still honor those who lost their lives, to still honor and remember our country, on which was one of the saddest days in American history, and what we can do to honor them. Do we say prayers for them? Do we light a candle for them? Do we honor them in some kind of way where we have, I don't know, signs, or like me doing this video? This video went over 30 minutes. I did not mean for it to go over 30 minutes, but I'm going to end it here. But in whatever way we can remember and honor them, I have a DVD. I couldn't find it. I tried to find it for this video. It's called In Memoriam of 9/11. I watch it every 9/11. I watch all the documentaries, all the news on the latest update of how people are honoring and remembering this day and those that lost their lives, and how we were affected, like I said, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and how we want to remember and let those that lost their life never be forgotten. We will always remember. We will never forget them. And in whatever way we can honor them, whether it's reading the Bible and saying prayers for them, you know, whatever way that we can honor and remember them. Like I said, lighting a candle is probably one of the things that I would do. Something to that effect. So I don't know. I'm going to end it here because my daughter just came home from work. And this video, I always say I don't want it over 30 minutes, and I'm already at 31 minutes and 35 seconds, and it makes me mad. But I just really wanted to come on here and just kind of share my experience of that awful day, where I was, like I said, what I thought, what I said, and how it's affected me 20 years later, and how I want to honor them. I have an altar up here that's for me and my husband's parents, where we decorate it for every occasion, every holiday, every special moment in life. And 9/11 is no different. Like I said, I'll probably light a candle. I'm definitely going to say a lot of prayers. I'm definitely going to meditate and just keep our country and those that were affected in my mind, heart, and thoughts, and just kind of just dedicate a day to them, where, like I'm saying, I'm watching that DVD, documentaries, watching the news to see where we are in our form of thinking and feeling on this 20th anniversary. So be blessed, stay safe, be at peace, and God have mercy on all of us. And may we always, you know, just do the right thing. And, you know, just always remember. And, you know, I don't even know what to say. I'm like looking for a specific thing to say, and I don't know what to say. Like I said, I'm probably going to cut the first, some of the things out because I feel like I'm repeating myself. Just, you know, be mindful. Be mindful of what this 20th anniversary means. I mean, we will never forget. It's going to be 50 years later, and we'll still be thinking about it and talking about it and honoring, remember them as we should. But just do whatever you feel in your heart in any way that you can honor this day in remembering them. And like I said, to me, it's watching the DVD, watching documentaries, listening on where we're at today and what people are feeling, you know, and sharing our thoughts and prayers with them, our real thoughts and prayers, not just saying it, but actually going, thinking about it and praying about it, lighting any candle that we can in their memory, doing whatever we can to honor them. Maybe there'll be a part 2 to this on how we honor 9/11, but, you know, humanity in the world is in my prayers. So stay safe, be blessed, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.